Hi gang, this particular principle is crucial in how you run your business, how you run your wealth, and more importantly, the decision making that you and the lens that you make decisions through when you're running business and doing wealth. Basically, it's all around this thing called emotion. Anytime you make an emotional decision, right, what happens is your intelligence goes down. So as soon as you start getting onto something and your glands start going and you're like, I love this idea and this is going to make me a buttload of money and this is the only thing to do, etc., automatically by being in that state of kind of a little bit euphoric, you're going to make a dumb decision normally. I know when I look back at my career, anytime I've been more in an emotives-driven state, okay, and not getting feedback to the contrary of being in that state, my intelligence has always gone lower, okay? So watch this one. It's at play. So watch what you do with your emotions. This also shows up very much in business, okay, when you're buying businesses. So when you're buying businesses, how you stay out of emotion and so that your intelligence doesn't drop away is you need great business buying rules. So especially if you haven't bought a lot of companies in your time, okay, you've got a higher chance of making a more of an emotional decision because you're kind of doing it on gut feel and what the business broker has said to you or the seller has tried to tell you. So best way around that is to get some really hot business buying rules. So what could some of those be? Well, I'll give you a couple of mine. Again, these are mine, they're not yours. Have a think of them before you make them yours if you're interested to do this. Okay, so for me, I'm not one who loves a lot of balance sheets. So I don't want huge amounts of net fixed assets, etc. I don't want millions tied up on my balance sheet. But that's a personal thing. If we got Lynn Fox here, the Australian entrepreneur who, in his trucking company, he's made a ton of money out of doing trucks. So if you looked at Lynn Fox's balance sheet, there's going to be millions and millions and millions of capital tied up in trucks, okay? So, make sure you've got one on that part of it. Me personally, I'm not also like companies that have got slow accounts receivable. I don't have to want to wait 60, 90 days to get paid for something. I just don't like those style of businesses. I also like businesses where I've got high frequency of transaction. If I do all this marketing to get a client, I basically want them to stay and transact with me a lot. Okay, I don't like fads. I like kind of more boring staple businesses that are going to be with me forever or be around forever. I don't like being at the bottom of the food chain. So for me, I'm not a big fan of franchises. Actually, I do recommend franchises for some people, especially if it's your first time in business, because the thing's already built. You don't have to really muck around with the systems, etc. But me personally, because I know what I know, I don't want to be at the base level. I kind of want to own the total franchisor, not be at the bottom level. And the same thing with primary producer. I don't want to be kind of like in a commodity-based market. I know people that, my father used to come from grazing and selling cattle and sheep, etc. But the only problem is it's very hard to add extra value to get more profits. Kind of like whatever the market's, buying at, well, that's what you got to sell at. So I'm kind of dictated from someone else. There's another buying rule for me. So the point about it is actually have you actually documented your buying rules? Actually, have you had to think about whether you want to have an industry that you've already got background in? I've just helped literally this month a person that went off and did an apprenticeship as an electrician, ended up being sort of like a business manager for an electrical company, and then he's gone off because he kind of knows that area, that's his sweet spot, so he's gone off and bought an electrical business, okay? So that's that. That also can work against you if, you know too much, then there's more of an aptitude and a reality of you end up being on the tools because you know how to do it, okay? So there's kind of a control thing. So What's the business buying rules that are going to best support you is the question. I also have some more generalized principle ones. I also have got ones on there that I want multiple advisors around me giving me feedback so that I don't think it's a great idea just on my own gut feel and doing the numbers. I want other people to concur with me when I do that, okay? My wife's the best one at that because she knows my velocity and if I'm not thinking things through. So, you know, that's a very important one. Here's another one. I'll tell you, all sellers and brokers, business brokers, are damn right liars. Every single one of them. Okay, they all lie through their teeth at you. They'll tell you whatever you need to do to buy that business. Just so you know, the recall, you know, if you buy a bad one, you've got nil pretty much chance of getting any money back or any through a legal system. So therefore, you've got to be asking lots of critical questions around why they're selling and how they're selling it, and, you know, tell me about the marketplace, etc., and not believing a word they say because they're all liars. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch more, but I want you to critically think out what's going to support you. Mine, I think I've got 26 of these. They've taken me over about 15 years to write each one of them. From going and buying businesses, etc. But what's going to support you? Thanks for listening, guys. Look forward to helping you buy a business. Have a great day.